All right, let's get some perspective on this from some of the people in the fray. Joining us live from San Francisco, Andrew Pugno from ProtectMarriage.com and Geoff from Equality, California. Geoff, let's start with you. Shouldn't the voters have the final say here?
Absolutely not. If the federal courts fail to overturn Prop 8, it will be a stake in the heart of the United States Constitution and a body blow to the very foundation of our democracy. You know, our democracy has thrived for more than 200 years because we have majority rule, but with very explicit protections for minorities that say the majority can't keep a right for themselves while denying it to any minority group. So while this case, the subject matter is same-sex marriage, what's really at stake and what the decision will tell us is whether all minorities in this country have to fear having their rights taken away by the majority at the ballot box, or whether all minorities, as the promise of our Constitution says, will be protected moving forward and not have to worry that they're going to lose rights that they and everyone else now enjoy because the majority decides they want one specific minority not to have them. That's totally against our foundation of our government.
Andrew, would you concede that Prop 8 left many Californians, many same-sex couples and families in a legal limbo here?
Well, once the California Supreme Court had upheld Prop 8 after a majority of voters passed it, we finally had some certainty about marriage, and we also had preserved at the same time a pretty comprehensive domestic partners law that provides all of the legal protections and benefits and duties that come with marriage for alternative relationships that sign up with the state. So once that had reached that point, we had a balance in California. This lawsuit has upset that balance.
And Geoff, your group, Equality California, has claimed that Prop 8 put children at risk. What do you mean by that?
Well, there are tens of thousands of children being raised by same-sex couples. Those same-sex couples, even those who are domestic partners in California, do not have any of the federal rights and protections of marriage. So there's no Social Security benefits if something happens to one of their parents. If them and their parents leave California and cross the border to Arizona, which doesn't have domestic partners, they're legal strangers. If one of their parents is from another country, they sometimes have to have their parents split up and their families torn apart. Why would we want any child in this country not to have their parents have the legal protections of marriage? In addition, imagine being a teenager who's coming to terms with being lesbian or gay and have the voters say, who you are is unequal, you're a second-class citizen, you're going to grow up, fall in love, but we're not going to let you get married. Under the state law, we're not going to let you get married to the person you love. That's hurtful, it's harmful, it's sending a message to youth that they're inferior. This is really hurting people. And denying families the protections of marriage has no benefit for society, which is why the California Supreme Court has said opposite-sex and same-sex couples must be treated equally.
I want to ask you both.
Harmful to children.
Let me just step in here. I want to ask you both, and
Sure.
Andrew, let's start with you. The trial is going to be carried on YouTube. Is that a good idea or a media circus?
Oh, we think it's there's a lot of risk a lot of risk of harm, and the people who are really on trial here in their decision to pass Prop 8 not getting a fair trial, which after all is the ultimate goal of the federal courts. And we're going from a situation where you can't even take a picture in the courts. You can't use cameras. You have to rely on an artist to make drawings. And we're going to go all the way to the extreme of recording and broadcasting federal court trial proceedings on YouTube for the entire world to watch. And many of the witnesses that are supported Prop 8, who are going to be probed about their personal moral views, are very fearful about their safety and the safety of their families from this turning into a circus.
And Geoff?
Well, of course it's not a circus. It's one camera by the court, and I don't know where Mr. Pugno was during the OJ trial, but there are hundreds of trials on TV all the time. Federal courts haven't done it, but states courts have done it successfully and opened a window of sunshine into the court process. You know, the right wing and Mr. Pugno's group win by telling lies in 30-second sound bites that they pay for on TV. We want the whole world to hear people have to testify under oath about why marriage is so important to families and why discrimination is wrong. And his side actually wants to hide the truth. And that's the difference here. We would like more access. We want people to hear the truth and see that these are loving same-sex couples who just want the same access to a government-issued marriage license that everyone else enjoys.
All right, Geoff, Andrew, we will have to leave it there, but a very interesting discussion. We'll keep an eye on the trial as it begins this week.